So now that we know what a function is, let's take a look at function notation. Function notation is very similar to just a normal equation. So previously we might have seen an equation look like this, y equals 3x squared minus 2x plus 4. And then it might say when x equals negative 2. So instead what we're doing now with function notation is we're just saying f of negative 2, and then they're asking us to essentially take the function f of x, and every time we see an x, we replace it with negative 2 and evaluate. So this one would be 3 times negative 2 quantity squared minus 2 times negative 2 plus 4. So I wrote exactly what I had before, but whenever I saw an x, I replaced it with negative 2. Now, a mistake that I see students make quite often is when they try to just drop the negative 2 here and say f equals, or they try to divide by negative 2 on each side to get rid of the negative 2. F of negative 2 isn't something that we can manipulate. That's just saying, it's the same as saying y equals. So keep the f of negative 2 there, and then just do your work. So f of negative 2 equals, this would be 3 times negative 2 squared is 4, minus 2 times minus 2 is actually plus 4, and then I have plus 4. So this is 12 plus 4, which is 20. So f of negative 2 equals 20. Next one, f of n. And this one is going to seem silly, but essentially what it's saying is put an n anywhere you see an x, and that's it. I can't do anything else. If it's a number, I could evaluate it, but this is as far as I can go on this one. I'm all done. Of course, they're going to be jerks and give you radicals and things like that, but this one's not quite as jerky as the next one, so hold on to your butts. I'm really just replacing x with the square root of 3. So that's what I've done so far. Now this one I don't get to just stop because I actually do have a value. And so if you have a value for that variable, you have to keep going until you can simplify as much as possible. So for this one, I would say 3 times, and then this is square root of 3 squared, which means 3, because the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is 3. Minus 2 times radical 3 plus 4. Well, that gives me 9 minus 2 radical 3 plus 4. And 9 and 4 can go together, so it gives me 13 minus 2 radical 3, and that would be my final answer. So f of radical 3 would be 13 minus 2 radical 3. And I do typically write it in this order. We put the nice whole number first, and we put whatever we have with the radical second. Okay, time for the super fun one. I know you're as pumped as I am. This one is saying take 3 times x minus 3 quantity squared minus 2 times x minus 3, and I'm realizing I should have left myself more room, plus 4. And the reason this one sucks a little bit is because of this guy right here, because this x minus 3 quantity squared says take x minus 3, take x times x minus 3, which means I'm foiling it. So hopefully we remember FOIL, first times first. Oops, I was going to write FOIL. X squared, outsides minus 3x, insides minus 3x, lasts plus 9. So down here I actually have 3 times, and I'm going to simplify this guy up here to x squared minus 6x plus 9. So that is x squared minus 6x plus 9. Then I have minus 2x, and I have minus 2 times minus 3, which is plus 6, and then plus 4. And now I have to distribute the 3. So 3 times x squared, 3 times minus 6, x, 3 times 9, recopy everything else, and now combine like terms. So I'm going to, 3x squared doesn't really combine with anything, so it's 3x squared. Then I've got minus 18x minus 2x, those combine to minus 20x. And then I have plus 27 plus 6, so that's plus 33, plus 4, so that's plus 37. So this would be my final answer. Here are some for you to try, so go ahead and press pause, try all 4 questions, then press play to see how you did. So again, for the given values of x, for f of 1, I'm going to take the square root of 5 minus 3 times 1. So 5 minus 3 times 1 is 5 minus 3, which is the square root of 2. And I can't reduce that any further, so that is my final solution, square root of 2. f of negative 5 says 5 minus 3 times negative 5, because it's 3 times x. So I get the square root of 5, and then I have minus 3, essentially, times minus 5, which is plus 15. So that gives me the square root of 20. Then I look for any perfect squares that go into it, so I would say this is 4 and 5. So my final answer is 2 radical 5. For f of 3, I take 5 minus 3 times 3, which is the square root of 5 minus 9. 5 minus 9 gives me negative 4. The square root of negative 4 is plus or minus 2i. And I just realized I forgot my plus or minuses on all those guys. And then f of 3w says take 5 minus 3 times 3w, which is the square root of 5 minus 9w, and that's all you got. You stop right there because there's nothing more I can do because there's a w.